Westlake Explorers. Today we will learn how to identify the main idea in stories we read. To identify the main idea, ask yourself, what is the text mostly about? You may also want to use the following clues to help you identify the main idea in books you read. Ask yourself, what did I just read about? Look at the title. Look at the pictures. Look for clue words that are used repeatedly. Reread the first and last sentences or paragraphs of the text. Finally, remember, good readers pay attention to what characters say and do, and put together the clues to identify the main idea. Today, I am going to read the story Fritz and the Beautiful Horses, written and illustrated by Jan Brent. Take a moment to think about the title, Fritz and the Beautiful Horses, and to look at the pictures on the front cover of this book. Do they give you any clues as to what this story might mostly be about? Today, as I read this story, Fritz and the Beautiful Horses, I would like you to pay attention to what the characters say and do. And ask yourself, what is the text mostly about? I would also like you to pay attention to the clues you see in the pictures to help you determine what is the main idea of this story. Remember, the main idea is what the story is mostly about. Let's get started. Fritz and the Beautiful Horses, written and illustrated by Jan Brent. Once there was a walled city known for its beautiful horses. There were magnificent jumpers, splendid chargers, and elegant parade horses. The citizens were so proud of these horses that it was decreed that only the most beautiful would be allowed in the city. All others would have to stay outside. The word decree means to state or declare something. So the citizens were so proud of these horses that it was decreed that only the most beautiful would be allowed in the city. All others would have to stay outside. One of these was a pony named Fritz. Fritz was not beautiful. He had a long, tangled mane, whiskers on his muzzle, and short legs, but Fritz was very gentle and kind. He was sure-footed and always willing to work. Okay, this is the mane of a horse. It's basically hair that grows from their head all the way down their neck here. A lot of people like to braid it and put ribbons in it to make it look pretty. And the muzzle on a horse is kind of another word for their chin. So it's basically here underneath their mouth. Right here you can see Fritz's muzzle right here, and he's got some whiskers on it up here underneath his mouth there. Okay, so Fritz was not beautiful. He had a long, tangled mane, whiskers on his muzzle, and short legs. But Fritz was very gentle and kind. He was sure-footed and always willing to work. Day after day, Fritz watched the beautiful horses. Some had braided manes and tails and carried lovely ladies. Others had glossy coats and pulled grand carriages. So a carriage is a fancy wagon that carries people inside. And here's a picture of a carriage right here. Most of all, he watched the children's horses. Do you see Fritz here? I wonder why the children look so frightened, he thought. The children were afraid. They didn't like their horses prancing and leaping. It made them very difficult to ride. So the word prancing means to take high bouncing steps. So their ride is probably kind of bouncy. And leaping means to jump, and horses often can jump very high and very forcible, which might be a little scary. So the children were afraid. They didn't like their horses prancing and leaping. It made them very difficult to ride. As Fritz watched, he thought, I would like a child to ride me. But no one ever noticed Fritz. One day, he climbed up the road leading to the walled city. He tried to take long, graceful strides. He pranced and curved his neck. He threw his tail into the air. And oh, look, he put flowers in his mane and in his tail to make himself look beautiful. Okay, prance means to move with springy, bouncy steps. And strives means to work hard, to take long, beautiful steps, just like the horses do. So one day he climbed up to the road to the walled city. He tried to take long, graceful strides. He pranced and curved his neck. He threw his tail into the air. The citizens stared at Fritz, and then they began to laugh. Look at that silly horse, they said. Then the lovely ladies and the magnificent gentlemen galloped away toward the walled city. The children followed reluctantly behind. I guess I do look silly, thought Fritz, and he hung his head in despair. Oh, look how sad he looks. Teachers, you may want to pause the video here and discuss what the text is mostly about with your class. Fritz listened to the citizens as they galloped their horses faster and faster. He heard their loud cheers as they rode onto the bridge to the walled city. All of a sudden, he heard a loud snap. The bridge was breaking under the weight of the horses' pounding hoofs. Fritz saw a large crack appear in the middle of the bridge. The citizens were on one side and the children were on the other. You'll have to cross through the river, cried the citizens. Oh, look, see, there's a crack right there in the bridge. But the children wouldn't move. My horse might shy and buck, said one. My horse might leap and stumble, said another. We might fall off, they all cried together. Stay where you are, shouted the citizens. We will come and get you. But their horses wouldn't move. This hill is much too steep, thought one horse. My lovely mane might get tangled in the bushes, thought another. We certainly don't want to get wet, all the horses agreed. Teachers, you may want to pause the video here and discuss what the text is mostly about with your class. Everyone wondered what to do. Then they noticed Fritz. Fritz carefully climbed to where the children waited. Fritz was not beautiful, but he was gentle and kind. He was sure-footed and always willing to work. The children were not afraid to ride him. So sure-footed means unlikely to slip or fall. And most horses with short legs tend to be sure-footed. So that means they're really good at climbing hills and mountains and crossing over rivers and creeks. Fritz was not beautiful, but he was gentle and kind. He was sure-footed and always willing to work. The children were not afraid to ride him. One by one, Fritz carried the children carefully down the steep hill. He calmly stepped through the river from rock to rock and up the other side. He finally carried all the children to the walled city. A great cheer went up from the citizens. The lovely ladies cried, "Hooray for the sure-footed pony!" The gentleman said, "How kind and dependable he is." And the children exclaimed, "We didn't fall off!" So Fritz was given a special place in the walled city. All the children cared for him and became his friends. From that day on, the walled city was known for its beautiful horses and its very dependable pony. Oh, look, they made him a special coat to make him feel beautiful like the horses. Isn't that nice? That's the end of the story, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed the story Fritz and the Beautiful Horses today. You will now discuss the story more with your teachers. Remember, the main idea is what the text is mostly about. Have a wonderful day. Bye.